Lou, we're getting eaten by mosquitoes. No
That
mistakes.
That too.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Today is Labor Day, September the beep. I just said that because I don't know the date. And we thank you for tuning in and for watching Do It Like Danny. Welcome to the Sunglass Edition. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. Well, it is. You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay, sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Labor Day edition of Do It Like Danny. Hopefully you're laboring away, or you're not. I'm not sure. But it's been busy. And I would like to say thank you again for everyone that has taken the time to invest in our time and listen and watch and give all your feedback. It's been hilarious, great, and wonderful. And I can't say thank you enough. So with that, I say hi, Lou.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your head today?
What are you talking about?
I just noticed that right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. So, Lou, these are gifts from Cousin Angelo.
Yep.
Cousin Angelo gave us little gifts. He gave a hat. He gave the presidential Do It Like Danny hat. If you can see, it's very presidential Do It Like Danny.
Your 2024 run?
This is for my 2024 run. I'm going to run for, I should run for governor. I'm going to push out that dumbass. And then we have these wonderful coffee mugs. Thank you, Cousin Angelo, and thank you, Thea Nena, for providing that for my 50th anniversary here on this earth. I've gotten actually quite a few gifts. In fact, I just opened your father's.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, have you opened all of them? Because I'm starting to get messages about you not opening your gifts.
Yeah. So listen, so I opened up Lou's, right? Because I was like, fuck, I got to find it. And I don't know, I just wanted to take more time. I really haven't had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Which sounds kind of crazy, right? You're thinking, well, who wouldn't want to like open all their gifts and right?
When you know the
there.
backstory, you're like, oh, I understand why.
Yeah. So I called him and I thanked him today.
Oh,
I
that's
said,
good.
Hey, thank you so much for providing. I really appreciate that. He provided to the Do It Like Danny GoFundMe. So thank you. And I'm sure I have many more thank yous to give to all of the wonderful gifts that everybody gave to me. Yes, I know. I'm just tardy right now. I'm always late. I'm so sorry.
Always.
But I am appreciative of everything that everyone did and who showed up and who didn't show up, who still contributed. Like, it was great. It was a lot of fun. And again, thank you for helping me celebrate my 50th anniversary on this earth. Like Disneyland, which I have more stories. Oh my God. But first, how are you doing? And can we have a quick update? Quick. What a bitch, huh? What a fucking bitch. I'm sorry. Let's cut that out. Put it right. Can we have an update, please, of what's going on with you and your dog?
Well, the update is she's still alive. So that's a plus.
Yay.
However, the news is definitely grim. She does have cancer.
Oh, God.
I know. It's been a rough week. She has a tumor on her right aorta, which is what caused a lot of the fluid to be released into her body. And I will say this, probably my first time in my life, I was like, I just want to think positive. But when they told me what she had and that it is fatal, so she does have a timer, I don't know when. I'd rather not think about that. But I did notice that there isn't a lot of information about what she has, and there isn't a lot of breakthroughs, and it just seems like one of those things where they don't care. She's just going to die, and that kind of angered me a little bit, so I decided to take matters into my own hands and try something different with her food. I'm trying a whole brand new diet that's just lean foods, hoping that it will not feed into the tumor and give her a better quality of life for the remainder of the time that she has here. And I will say this, if you looked at her from the outside, you'd be like, she doesn't look sick. And I would agree with you. She doesn't look sick. But I'm no doctor, unfortunately. And I'm not a miracle curist of any kind, but I went to go buy some dog nutrition books to see what I could feed her. and hopefully it works. That's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Wow, that's pretty great. I mean, that's a great update in terms of at least you, you know now.
Yes.
You know what's going on. Unfortunately, it's not curable, which is sad. But at least you're able to take control of what little bit of life she has left. And I don't mean little bit in like a, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
For the time that she has left on this earth, you're going to be able to provide at least a better life. God, I wish we could do that to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We don't do that. We need to. We put so much attention and love into our animals who can't even talk to us.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They can't even communicate like what they need or how they feel or what they do. And here we are just making their existence on this earth like the most amazing thing ever. And it makes me a little bit sad too, because we really should do that to ourselves, but we don't. We're like eating In-N-Out and Del Taco. I'm not me. I'm just saying in general, like people do that. People do things like that. Yeah. Or go to Disneyland and eat food and stuff like that. But I'm glad, and I'm sorry. And of course, obviously, I'm sure the Do It Like Danny fans would love to, offer more help and assistance. I'm sure you'll get more messages after this episode.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who has messaged me privately, and for all my friends that came by. Even my dad came by yesterday to say their goodbyes or their hellos for their first time, and I'm sorry. But that made me feel happy because I know my dog is a very kind and sweet animal. And it was nice. It's been helping me. And I think that's kind of like why I said, you know what, I'm going to try and take things into my own hands and see if I can do something for her. So we'll see.
Oh my God, I'm like welling up over here with tears. That's like so sad. Oh my God, that's so endearing. That's so nice. That's shit. It makes me feel bad. And Angelo for not going over to your house.
Okay.
And Darnella for not going over and saying hello to your dog. Oh my God, I like my ear like plug up, like I have all this fluid coming out. Wow, I don't even know where to go from there. That's like so sad. Oh my God. Well, I went to Disneyland. Aunt and I went to Disney.
Well, let's bring it back. Let's get an update on you because last week we wanted to find out.
Oh yeah.
Were you or were you not roofied?
Oh my God. It's so hard because like when you put that kind of like label out there in the world and say, I was roofied, like, it's so accusatory. And this is all allegedly. But what I can say is that there is an update.
Oh, wow. Let's hear this one.
Roofie part 2. So the bartender that was there that night that I supposedly got roofied, right, sent me a message on Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
The same guy who poured your drink that night?
Yes.
Are they close? Is he close?
She's close to the roommate. They're very good friends. They all work together, right? They're,
okay.
I don't know if they go break bread. I don't know. I have never been out with the bartender. Like I've never anywhere other than the bar. That's the only time I've ever had any type of interaction with this particular bartender.
So he just messaged you out of the blue.
Out of the blue. There
doesn't have your phone number, no text, no. Wow.
Excuse me. Excuse you. He Facebook Messengered me.
Oh.
Yeah. He sent me a message on Facebook Messenger because he doesn't have my phone number. And he said to me, there's an event, this bear event, Thursday. Are you coming?
And he's never said that to you before.
I've never been invited to any event personally by him. I've never heard from him at all whatsoever. But he is good friends with the ex-roommate.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Right? So, of course, I got flooded with all of these thoughts of like, oh my God, like, they're going to try to kill me. Like I start to spiral.
Yeah.
You start to spiral because then you're like, oh my God, this really is fortifying the way that I feel. And again, I will repeat this. Listen, if I drink or I want to get fucked up, I would have been like, oh my God, I got so drunk. White girl drunk, right? I would totally say it. I have no issue. I'm an adult. But in this instance, I went from like, oh my God, I'm having a great time to, I'm awake. That's the update on Roofiegate. I'm going to assume, which is the worst word you could ever use at all in the entire vernacular of the universe, but I'm going to have to assume that there was something that could have been done to me for that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, because now we'll just end that story there because I don't want to even revisit those people at all. And I'm not going to go back there for a while. I say for a while. I'm there next week. Yeah. I want to say never, but like if I say never's a long time.
Yeah.
And that's not true because I'll probably pop in one day. I'll just be very weary and careful of who pours my drink, and I'm going to like watch it like a hawk.
Well, don't they have like testers that you can test your drinks to make sure it hasn't been...
They make a nail polish.
Okay.
That for women, if it's on your fingers and you dip your finger into the drink, it'll change color.
Oh, you should get that.
Yeah, but I don't wear fucking nail polish.
Well, now it's time for you to start.
I don't wear nail polish, Louis. I don't do that shit. But there has to be some sort of a testing kit.
Yeah.
For those of you at home who are wondering why we're doing this, because we're getting attacked by Moscato.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, Louis gave us Zika. Probably because of the rain, the humidity, but they're wild right now.
They're wild today, yeah.
They need to get drowned.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so that's the update on Rohypnol-gate. And moving forward from that, I was lucky enough. I went to my good friend Linda, happy birthday Linda, who let us use her backyard. I went to her surprise birthday party. So I don't know if you remember last week when we were filming here, she gave me my birthday card and a wonderful gift, and I was kind of like put on the spot because I knew her birthday was going to be coming up this weekend. And so I was like, oh, well, what are you doing for your birthday? Just making conversation, right? Never in a million years did I ever think that she was going to say, oh, you should come with us because, you know, my two friends were getting together. We're going to have tacos and margaritas in Whittier. And I said, oh, okay, right? I didn't know what to say at that moment. I was put on the spot like, oh, fuck. Like, what am I going to do? I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah.
Full well knowing I was already going to the surprise birthday party that we had set in motion weeks ago. So she asked me, and then when she asked her friends who were putting the party on, they were like, Danny, you're going to give this whole thing away. You can't come. You can't be invited. And I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? Oh, my God. So I concocted this story of, well, I have Disneyland tickets.
You lied to her.
So I didn't really lie, though, because then now Ange and I really were trying to get in for September 1st. Now, for people that don't know home, Disneyland releases September 1st their Halloween Mickey popcorn bucket. I should have brought him. Here, Louis, I'm going to move so you can put his photo in there. You got to put a photo. Put a photo of the Mickey popcorn bucket, which is a limited edition for Halloween. And there were other popcorn buckets too, but we'll get to that in just a second. So right away, I went online to reserve September 1st. It was already full.
Wow.
It was already full. So I knew what I was up against. And we didn't want to go in the second. And we're like, well, if we have to, we will. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But there have been instances where they release these popcorn buckets and they're sold out the first day.
First day, yep.
Right? So we were like, oh my God, we have to get in. We have to get in. So I think I was shopping somewhere at the market and it was like 10 o'clock at night and I just happened to look. And I'm like, oh my God, it's open. So I made a reservation and I called Ange and I was like, Ange, it's open. Get in. Because Ange had already made a reservation, but for DCA. And we wanted for Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
So she ended up getting it. And so we ended up going, we decided that night we're going tomorrow morning. I was driving. I got home, I don't know, probably midnight or so. And I took a nap. I was up by 5:30 and we were out the door by 6:15, right? Picked her up. We got down there. It was just a shitload of people.
I can imagine, yeah.
Again, rope drop, and it was humid and hot. And we were like, oh my God. So the reason why I tell this story is because that's the story that I told Linda on Saturday.
Oh, that's what happened?
I said, oh, I'm at Disneyland. I said, we want these limited edition popcorn buckets. Meanwhile, I was on my way to Whittier to go surprise her.
Yep.
So when she walked in the door to get surprised, we were like, right away she goes, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at Disneyland, right? And that was the funny part. So it was really, 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 really a genuinely good surprise. And then on top of that, one of her friends from the East Coast,
Oh, she came?
He came. And what we did was, or what was their idea, what they were going to do, So he was hiding upstairs. And he called her right when she walked in. And he goes, okay, well, here, listen, you need to do a shot. I'll do a shot with you on the phone for your birthday. So meanwhile, we all knew it was going to happen. So while we're getting all the stuff together, he goes, okay, you ready to do the shot? Meanwhile, he's walking down the stairs and on the phone. And when right before they're about to do the shot, he walks out. It's probably better if I just do it with you. It's just like...
That's a good one.
It was really
That's
good.
a good one,
It was really good. It was good. They did a great job. Her friend Co and her friend D'Lo, everyone that contributed did an amazing job. And what I love about Linda is that her friends are like my friends, and they've just been there forever.
Yeah.
You know, I've had, you know, Philip 20-some years, John 20-some years. Like, I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm okay with that. And I don't mean that like, oh, we're me and her friends. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm happy with the quality of the people that I have in my circle, including my family.
Yeah, all the core group.
All the core group. I'm good. I'm really, really good. But it was great. We had so much fun. And again, we drank and we swam and we ate. And it was a wild time. It was a really, really wild time.
That's awesome. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But you know what's even funner?
Your main story?
Oh my God. Is that even a word? Funner? More funner? That doesn't even work. It's just fun. The most fun? That sounds so Caucasian. I'm having the most fun
The
ever.
bestest of funs.
The bestest. I'm the bestest. So yes. So in our last episode, we were talking about. Remind me again, Louis.
The crew.
Oh, my crew.
Yeah.
And you know, it's so funny because that day I think I was like going through something, and then I think back and I thought, you know, there's so many more stories that I have of crew that I didn't even touch on. I didn't touch on at all whatsoever because I don't think it's fair to narrow it down to the crew of the talk. I think every once in a while I will highlight one of the crew members from other shows also too, because there were a lot of people that I've come into contact. There are a lot of my staff that were crazy, that were so crazy. Like I think of Tyra and I think of all these other. Oh yeah. So every now and then we'll probably touch on it. But what I think we really need to touch on are the mothers of the talk.
Oh, here we go. I've actually been waiting for this one.
I don't think we can go through all of the moms in one episode.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be like a two-parter?
It's going to be a two-parter.
Okay.
So I'm just going to precursor it like that.
That's how much bullshit you had to deal with.
I mean, some people say bullshit. I say life experience. I had a lot of life experience.
Yep, that job really put you through the ringer.
Yeah. Because I had dealt with moms at Ellen DeGeneres. Betty was the name of Ellen's mom, who was wonderful. Never treated anyone like the help. Never.
Wow.
You know, she was just super kind. I'm not her daughter, but
I was going to say, so the opposite of Ellen,
yeah. But yeah, I never had a negative experience with Betty.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there was Tyra's mom. Tyra's mom was like super hip and cool. Oh my God. I mean, because, you know, Tyra was fun and crazy, but Tyra's mom was Carolyn. She was business, but she kind of knew who everybody was. Season 1 and 2, I think she was executive producer. So she was heavily involved with the show. And she was Tyra's mama.
Yeah.
You know, and Tyra would tell like stories about her mom and stuff. I didn't have a lot of interaction with Carolyn. She really wasn't there too much in New York, but I never had a negative experience whatsoever. And even Beyonce's mom came to the show and was a part of Beyonce's show. And I had to deal with Beyonce's mom. She was fine.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I started working on the talk.
That's kind of interesting. It didn't carry over.
Yeah. So, you know, listen, going into it, I'm going to be honest. Again, I feel like I was very green. And I don't want to say that I wasn't qualified, but I felt like the talk was... It was my bad to assume, again, the really worst word in the world. It was my bad to assume that the talk was going to be just like Ellen and just like Tyra. Because it was a lot of the same players.
Yeah.
It really was sans, you know, new talent, you know, other than that, right? So, coming into it, I was genuinely excited. Like I was probably a deer in the headlights at the end of the day. I wasn't expecting the level of neediness from these women. I will start with the two main ones. So in the beginning of the show to talk, there was Leah's mom and there was Holly's mom. Holly's mom has been in the business for a long time. She was the head of, I don't know, all these different groups and so on and so forth. So Holly's mom was very connected. And I think that's probably what helped Holly,
Get on the
promote and project her career was because of the mom. Again, that's all hearsay. It's allegedly. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I do not know. I'm going to assume that by the way that her mom presented herself. And then there was Leah's mom, who was, I don't know if she was a New Yorker. She acted like a New Yorker. I don't know where she was from. We probably should have fact-checked this first. Dana, find out, please. Thank you. But she was, listen, in the beginning, Vicky, I totally thought that Vicky and I were going to get along because I felt like she was no bullshit. She told it the way that it was, and I always appreciate that about people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm going to sugarcoat this for you. But it turned into this like very crazy, needy, Leah's mom was very well known in production.
Mm-hmm.
There were multiple incidences with Leah's mom.
Wow.
A couple I was involved in, a couple I was not involved in. Most notably was, the show was starting off. And so they told me, Danny, the moms always save 5 + 1 potential seats for the mothers.
Yeah.
The directors chose the seats. I never chose the seats. That's not my job. My job was to fill the seats and to create camera shots.
Yeah.
But it was never my position to, we're going to put this mom here. The EP and all, they all figured that out, right? So their sets were already, their seats were already predetermined.
Wow.
And when they came in, they thought they were going to sit in the front row. But it wasn't like that because they had to be in a camera position. And there were no cameras in the front row because the hosts are in the front row.
Yep.
So there was a little bit of a disconnect there. And I think that ultimately they always believed that I was the one that sat them in those positions. Because here's the awful part. If you've never been to the talk, if you were in a camera shot, the minute the cameras went to the front and looked at the host, they turned around and guess what? There's a cameraman butt in your face and a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to television. So not everybody always had a direct view of the host. Sometimes you have to look at a monitor. Sometimes you had a view. We just couldn't determine. It's a working television show.
Yeah.
And for people to come into anybody, this doesn't even include the moms, to come into a TV show and to assume and to think that you're going to have the best viewing ever, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Yep.
Because producers are going to be walking by. People are going to have cords, cameras. It's a working television set. You are a prop, if you will.
Yeah.
You're there to be seen. You're not there to enjoy it. I mean, and that probably is kind of harsh to say that. Yes, there's a moment of enjoyment. Ultimately, though, a lot of people wanted to be in that front row, right?
Yeah.
So, again, not my choice. There was grumbling. I can't see.
From her or from her posse?
Oh, no, from her.
Okay.
Sorry, Vicky, there's nothing I can do about it, And then came, so every single time anyone is ever in the audience, they have to sign a release form.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not my rule. That's the rule of programs and practices.
Yes, correct.
Has nothing to do with me. Like, I didn't just wake up one morning and be like, oh, guess what? Everybody has to sign a release form every single day, right?
And you had to do it before you even walked into the stage.
Correct.
They gave everybody the clipboard. I know because I went a couple times, and I usually got to sit in the front. And, that was always interesting because no matter how many times you went, a new form was shoved in front of you, and your picture was taken too.
Vicky. She didn't like filling out the release forms.
Wow.
Now, listen, I'm going to defend her for a little bit. She was there every single show for the most part that I can remember, right? yes, it can become a little daunting. Take your picture, sign the release form. And I always wanted to figure out a different way to do it. But ultimately, it was, this is what programs and practices wanted. They wanted this signed release form to always be on file.
Yeah.
Right?
Didn't matter the relation, whatever.
Exactly.
You were not special.
And it wasn't like we could photocopy it, and like it had to be a fresh signature for every single one. You know, there really wasn't any other way to build a better wheel in this particular instance. It was what it was. But she never really grasped that concept. So there were moments where she would just scribble. There were moments where she would just put a big heart. Or my favorite, she actually sat there one day and she scribbled over the entire thing. And what she did was she ended up making this.
And how old was this woman?
Oh, God, I don't know. She's Leah's mom. This is what she learned. She learned how to scribble this out. One of the executives, I think, saved it because people were like, what is going on? This is crazy, right? So crazy.
Now, when this kind of stuff happens, is it appropriate to approach the talent and go, hey, we know it's your mom. These are the rules. This is what we do. We understand, but we can't have this. Does that ever come into play for any of you to say, for the higher ups to say, or is it just, well, just deal with it?
Again, I was very green. I didn't know that this was inappropriate. And now for people that are listening are probably going to sit there and go, how do you not know this? You remember, I came from Ellen. Those executives screamed and yelled at people. Those executives were horrible to PAs.
Yeah.
When that's your baseline, and fast forward to coming onto the talk with Leah, who was very boisterous, strong, opinionated, polarizing sometimes, you don't feel like you have any leverage. I didn't feel like I had anywhere to go because if I went to my executives, they were just going to say to me, just deal with it. Nobody wanted to be that person to go to Leah and say, your mom's being an ass. What's Leah going to do?
Yeah.
F you, who knows where that's going to go.
Yeah.
And then people get fired over that. Well, you don't like your job? You don't like it? How much money do you make? Bye, you can leave.
Wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like that. And I don't think people realize that. It's very toxic.
Yeah. It's very
toxic.
upsetting to hear because that's not what you get paid for.
Correct.
Unfortunately.
I didn't get paid to babysit the mother at all whatsoever.
No.
Then when it came to giveaways, her mom wanted, all these extra additional things, and I couldn't just give her extra. It had to go through the proper channels. Mm-hmm. The same thing with Sarah's mom. They would ask for extra things. They all asked for extra things, which, by the way, I didn't really care because it's not my stuff. But they believed that when I didn't give them an instantaneous answer of a yes, that I was the one controlling it.
Yeah.
I had to answer to financials, the finance department. Like, we created finance reports because what people don't realize is when you ingest all those giveaways, they become assets of the company, which means you just can't give them away freely, right? You can't. An executive can't come to you and be like, oh, by the way, give 4, PlayStations to so-and-so. Like, we had to answer to the officers in the office of CBS that controlled the finances.
Oh, yeah.
That were above even the executives.
And if those went missing, well, somebody's ass is going to get chewed out or fired. Yeah.
Get chewed out and fired. Right?
Yeah.
But the executives don't see it that way. See, the problem with television is people believe that they don't have to answer to anybody and that they are above reproach. And I'm sorry to say, it doesn't matter what job you have, no matter the job that you do, nobody is above reproach ever. But of course, I'm a strong person, and I'm Danny, and I'm that little bitch that gets everything done and crosses my T's and dots my I's. Right?
I'm trying to take care of everybody.
I'm trying to take care of everybody, and so it looked like I was the one that was preventing them from getting their extras or preventing them from, getting their giveaways in a VIP-like manner, right? Because what people don't realize is back in the day, we used to give out product. So if, the host had friends and family coming in, they wanted their giveaways right then and there.
Yeah.
Well, number one, we didn't know who was going to show up. Okay, so it's not like we had all the storage space to be holding thousands of dollars worth of giveaways.
Yeah.
And they wanted them right then and there. So then we had to work with like a host assistant, and we wanted to create the environment. Fine, listen, the easier to get it to them, the better off.
To get them out of
But
your hair,
what
yeah.
they failed to realize was we had 250 people that we had to attend to before we got to the VIPs, because they had to get out. The lot had to clear. There is a revolving parking structure. We weren't the only show that was taping there. And I feel like all of the executives, including the principals, thought that we were the only show taping on the lot. There was, oh God, what was the name of that show from NBC? When we first started, it was the Outsource. Outsource was filming there. They had like 150 extras. Then after them, it was like Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, you name it. I could go on and on and on and on. And especially then Reno, not Reno 911, Brooklyn 999 or Brooklyn
999, yeah.
999, whatever the Brooklyn one is, right? With Andy Samberg and all them. They had like 200 plus extras. Those people had to park somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So then we became the problem child because Julie Chen was the wife of Les Moonves. And whatever Julie Chen wanted, they had to give the show.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this. There are a lot of executives that played that card in their favor because of Julie. It may not have come from Julie, but there was always that level and that air of, okay, well, we'll just go back to Miss Chen and tell her that we can't accommodate her. We can't do this.
Wow. And that's how they got away with all that shit, huh?
Nobody wanted to lose their job. Nobody wanted to lose their job. Do you want to know how many times a day I heard, whatever Julie wants?
Yo, I can't imagine.
Whatever Julie wants.
That was at least 100 times in one show.
Whatever Julie wants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Right, me. Crazy me. That doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing that? Whatever Julie wants.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this tension from day one of we just have to make it work. And that was what one of my executives would tell me. Her name was Heather. She would say, make it work. Okay, well, how do you want to make it work? Because a lot of these things were new to me. And yes, I got paid to do audience things, but some of the things like, I'm not a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't control this VIP-like atmosphere. You need to have somebody else do that because I'm managing the, 16 pages, their manager, and shuttling 250 people from point A to point B and then seating them. Yep. So I wasn't trying to be an asshole and say that I'm the busiest person on the show because I definitely am not. We were all busy. Every single person on that show was busy. I can't say that I did it alone, but I definitely didn't get a lot of help. And so I had to be squeaky wheel. I had to be squeaky wheel the majority of the time. Because if I didn't steamroll and bulldog my way into situations, they would have walked all over us.
So you had to become a wolf.
You had
in a
to
wolf's
become
den,
a wolf.
yeah.
That type of environment forces you to become a wolf. You don't even have a choice. It's either you are a wolf or a shark.
Yep.
That's it. Because the minute they smell blood, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't run with the pack, you're done.
Oh, yeah.
I never ran with the pack.
Yep.
Anywho, Vicky. So over the course of the season 1, because that's all they were there for, because eventually Leah got fired after season 1.
Now, do you think she was only there for season 1 partially because of the way her mother acted? Do you think that ever got out? Do you think that ever becomes a factor of why people get let go? Because of the entourage and the environment that they bring is negative.
I never thought of that. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because Leah had her own set of things that she was...
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you mean if it comes down one, it's going to come down
I
to
mean,
the
the
other.
stories that I heard, I was like, oh, I honestly was like so glad that I was not in that inner circle.
Yeah.
And listen, she seemed like a nice person, Leah. But I don't want to talk about her yet because it was just stay with the mom. Going back to, again, I loved Leah. I loved Leah Remini.
Yeah. I hear you.
I
hear you.
And I was genuinely excited to be in her presence and be working with her on season 1 of The Talk.
Yeah, I understand that.
It changed quickly. Her mother, I genuinely in the beginning was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Because I, for the most part, feel like I get along with all the moms. And you either love me or hate me. She hated me.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sure she complained. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure. I'm going to say she complained about me all the time to Leah.
What's the way she treated you, right?
Correct.
That gave you that vibe. Okay.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and gonna assume that. Now, Leah's husband, Angelo. Oh my God. Amazing. Nicest fucking man ever. My God, the man's an angel. Somewhere in heaven, they're fucking chiseling his name on a fucking podium.
Seed?
And God's like, oh, is that Leah Remini's husband, Angelo? Oh,
He's the same.
please, whenever it's time, invite him up. Offer him tea. Offer him whatever he wants on the way up. Because he's coming up.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? He was a hoot. Kind, personable. He knew what I was going through. He'd throw me looks. A nice man.
Yeah.
A very nice man.
So he didn't just kind of pile it onto you. He was like, I get it. I'm in this family
God
too.
bless him.
I know what's up.
Again, higher power up there is like, is it time? We have a fountain, statue. Angelo.
Well, shout out to him.
Angelo. Not cousin
Not
Angelo.
cousin Angelo.
But Angelo, Leah Remini's husband, kind man, wonderful man. Back to Leah's mom. So, we went through this again. I had heard horror stories. So, okay, so now this wasn't a part of audience, but supposedly one day the mom's badge wasn't working. The security list would get updated weekly, monthly, however they did it, whatever the frequency, I'm not sure of. I don't know. Every once in a while, there would be a glitch. We would go to swipe our cards and it didn't work, right? You're like, oh, we make the joke. Oh, shit, I'm fired, right? However, there were glitches. And so they would send a security guard. He would swipe you in, yada, yada, yada. On this particular day, Leah's mom had driven up to the security kiosk.
Okay.
And her card was not working. So, of course, obviously, yes, she came every single day. Yes, some people knew that she was Leah Remini's mom, but not everybody knew who she was. She assumed that everybody knew who she was because her complaint was, I come here every single day, right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of disconnect there. So she did not want to wait, and she ran through the security arm.
Wow. Like just broke it off?
Broke it off.
What? So this chick is crazy. Just naturally a psychotic, crazy lady.
Now, I heard that's a story. Is it true? Maybe. Maybe not. Allegedly.
Well, I was just going to say, dealing with her, knowing how she is, what do you think?
I think it's totally fucking true.
It sounds like it.
She was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So throughout the season, there were many, many more stories. I probably will remember them. David will probably remember them also, too, when he comes on the show finally. But probably the best story that I could ever tell about Leah Remini's mom is it was our wrap party at Holly's house. And Holly was so kind to have the wrap party at her house, probably not knowing, too, that she was going to get fired.
Yeah.
And, I can't remember if Julie didn't go. Mrs. O was there. The hosts were there. I'll never forget. And I have witnesses. Jeff was a witness who was one of my coordinators at the time from the show. And I think Leah's mom had been drinking. We had a rough season, her and I.
Sounds like it. You haven't even gone through every story yet.
Yeah. But we could be here forever.
Wow.
So we don't want to be here forever. And she came up to me and she fucking grabbed my balls.
At this rap party?
She went like this. And she goes, I know fags like you. She's dime a dozen, whatever,
What?
right? And Jeff was like, holy shit, what is going on, right? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? I said, I will tell you this. I've been in television for a long time. I said, and principals come and go. I said, so maybe I won't be here or maybe I will. But you'll never know because you'll be gone before me.
Wow, because you already knew?
No.
So you just called it like that?
I just said it like that.
Wow.
I had been drinking too.
But you weren't roofied, so we know you remember this story.
Yeah.
Wow, so she sexually assaulted you to some degree.
But see, again, when you're in television, you don't.
I'm.
What do you say? Who do I tell?
Yeah.
Who do I tell? Who am I going to tell? I didn't even know HR was a thing, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know a lot of things. Again.
That's insane.
Correct.
That is insane, yeah.
Correct. Because you don't consider them as employees of the show.
Yeah.
They're just the moms. I never associated them with the show because of this, right? So what do I do? And by the way, so when I actually finally thought about it, like, well, maybe I should tell somebody, right? They fired him. They fired Leah.
Yeah.
I never saw her again.
That was your last interaction with that woman?
That
Well,
was
I'll
my
tell you this.
last interaction with her.
Don't go to...
Does Vicky go?
Yeah. I saw her
she's
there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I would like to go. Not to like, yeah. I'm curious to see.
I've seen the whole crew there.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Interesting. The husband would say hello to me, but I don't know if the mom would say hello to me. She hated me.
That is insane. Wow.
Yeah. That's just one mother. Where are we at in time?
Oh, we're good.
So with that, I'm going to leave you all, and I'm going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for my presidential election Do It Like Danny hat 2024.
We'll be back next week with another mom.
And hopefully no indictments.
But if they are, at least we're doing our show really well. Oh, man.
Oh, listen, everybody, have a great week. Listen, shit's hard right now for everybody. I get it. I hope that the bullshit that comes out of my mouth and the insanity kind of helps you with your week. I know that sometimes I go on my rants and I'm crazy, but that's the part of the show.
Yeah.
The whole goal was to always kind of transport you to somewhere else. And I'm hoping that for a brief moment while you were working out or while you were doing anything, it took you away from what you're currently experiencing. That's always been the goal of Do It Like Danny, is to make you forget and put it on me. So with all that being said, have a great week. Thank you, Louie. Thanks to everyone. Thank you, Cousin Angelo. And thank you, Angelo, Leah Rimley's husband. I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.